Hello, everyone, and welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of the Big Brother 23 finale and Survivor 41 episode 2. Welcome, everyone in the chat. We've got Dolores L., Sam Higdon, Matt Henning, Dolores L. Your grammar is not so very good. That's someone's handle. I'm not attacking anyone. Joseph Boza, Romero 329, Juan Washington Cruz. I think I said that right. Welcome, everyone. We had to split this show up tonight because, quite frankly, it was past my bedtime last night. Trust me, we should have done the show. Okay, yeah. We should have. In hindsight, next year, we're doing the show. Okay, yeah. Right, Tyler?
Yes.
Just going to have to bite the bullet and do the effing show.
And Beth she's doing some work stuff. She might hop in a little bit later. I sent her the link and everything like that, but just depends on how like her work stuff goes and everything. But so Allison, I feel like it's been a while since it's just been us two, and I can't wait to break down like everything about Survivor. But first, in Julie Chen fashion. So what we're going to do tonight is talk about the Big Brother finale. Yeah. I have like a list of like pros and cons to just kind of have like talking points about wrapping up the season as a whole, putting a nice bow on it, sending it off into the stratosphere before we talk about Survivor. I feel like Survivor was pretty straightforward, so I don't think there's too much there, but like we'll still like break all of that down and everything like that. I want to start with the big news of the night, which is Xavier is the first Black winner.
Spoiler.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That's the last time I can say that. Like, if you don't know who won Big Brother 23 finale, why are you here? It says in the description, Big Brother 23 finale. Yes, the first African-American person of color, Xavier. What's his last name? I don't even know.
Prather or something.
Prather. Like first. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. And yes, and that is the thing, right? Like this was like easily like the most like predictable outcome that all of us have been saying for weeks now.
2 weeks, yeah.
But it's still a very big accomplishment. The cookout as a whole, a very big accomplishment. And honestly, like I'm glad that it was Xavier and not Azah that won at the end. I feel like the more deserving person out of the final three did in fact win the season. How are you feeling about Xavier's win overall?
I love that he won. I really, I will admit I got a little nervous during the final HOH when he and Azah were one apart, but I pretty much knew, I was like, man, anything could happen at this point. But it was obvious, I think, towards the end that he was going to win and take Derek F. But this was, I think he's the best person to represent the first African-American to win Big Brother proper US. And I think I really like Xavier. I don't have one negative thing to say. Mark the history books for once.
Wow.
I don't have one negative thing to say about Xavier Prather. I don't have anything bad to say about Derek Frazier. I was shocked that no one knew that he was smoking Joe's son. I thought that came out, but I was wrong. But you have to give Derek a little credit. He tried. He was pulling stuff out of everywhere. He even thinks he created the cookout. I mean, that kind of I love how they immediately shot to Tiffany's face when he said that, because I thought anyway, I love Derek. I absolutely love Derek. He knew he was going to get second the whole time. He didn't even really, there wasn't really,
or is he like just telling everybody after that he knew because he lost so badly? That's kind of how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, they cut to him several times saying, just give me the 75,000, or just give me the 50, or whatever he thought he was getting, just give me the check, just go ahead and give me the money. And I don't know. I just love Derek and I love Xavier and I love Azah. Azah broke my heart. she looked defeated after she missed the first question. And it just, her whole demeanor during her interview, during the jury, just all of it, sitting there, it killed me to see her not smiling and being Ozza. It really broke my heart. And of course, Kyland, the gift that keeps on giving, he is not sorry for what he said to Xavier because Xavier misheard what he said.
Yeah, that is so that is the grossest.
I didn't mishear anything.
I've ever seen. Right? No.
Did you mishear anything?
He said he kept saying during the finale yeah, we watched it back, and I'm like, who is we? What are you even talking about, Kyland? You're just embarrassed because you came out to Julie Chen and acted like this big ass hot shot, but everybody is just has the grossest taste in their mouth after dealing with you. I'm glad that it worked out for Xavier, and I watched some exit interviews that Xavier did with RHAP. And
I did
Tiffany
too
as well. And Xavier, they asked him point blank about Kyland, and he was like, listen, he shouldn't have brought in anybody in my family. But it is what it is. I wish him all the best. He still had a very classy response to that. He said, I had to keep my composure in that moment because I was thinking about how I was representing my friends and my family. And it's very classy and then very not classy on the other side of that argument, in my opinion. But
and I have a question before we get into points. Were Whitney and Frenchie on mute or something? Because not did get a peep out of them. Travis got more airtime during the finale than he did the whole season he was on. And what happened to the social distancing? Because Julie was all but dry humping Xavier at the end of the show.
I mean, do you blame her though?
No. Once in my life, I was jealous of Julie Chun Mendez. So I just kind of, but I'm it just went out the window. The rules went out the window the minute Xavier won.
Yeah. So I have a little conspiracy theory with Whitney. So she, before the finale, she was tweeting, asking Twitter for a specific examples of the men of the cookout just being very misogynistic to the women, really underplaying any role of theirs at all. And so she was collecting all this evidence, these receipts to call them out live on air. And then Whitney says something's wrong with your sound. I don't know what's going on. I guess we have to skip you. I'm sorry, Whitney.
How convenient.
Right.
Was Julie Chen just out of control last night? I mean, so Brittany Sent is standing up and making a huge announcement. She revealed her autism, which was and
it was very touching. It was a great moment.
And then Julie tells her to sit down, that the lighting is better when she sits. Julie, look, you need, first of all, two things. The lighting that you get is not, they don't like you. The lighting department does not like Julie Chen. Okay? They don't like you. And two, we're done.
And
please
it's not
stop.
even like Brittany was it's not like she was in the shadows over here, you couldn't you couldn't see Brittany. She looked exactly the same there as
when
she
sat down.
So,
Anelda, my friend Anelda is in the show. We were talking about that today. It's what was the freaking point? There was no point. You're an idiot. I was hoping that the big announcement that she was going to make was not Celebrity Big Brother, which starts in February. I was hoping we were going to hear, ladies and gentlemen, I have a higher calling. Jesus has called me to something else. I, Julie Moonves Chen, will no longer be hosting Big Brother. That is Janelle and Will now co-host the show. And then Allison would be happy. But I didn't get that announcement.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of the roundtable, we didn't have a host this year. And I kind of liked it. Do we need Dr. Will to host this roundtable when I feel like they did a really great job doing it themselves? I don't know.
I personally need Dr. Will just because he's great and he pokes them. There wasn't anybody to poke the house guests. But yeah, you're right. I I think they
I
did
didn't
a
even
great
notice
job.
that until like you like mentioned the roundtable. I was like, wait, who hosted that? Like, oh,
No one.
nobody.
And something else, I don't know where I've been. Maybe asleep on the couch. I don't know. But I noticed it was all girls and just Derek until Kylan showed up. And I was like, because they had made the joke, they got, all the men stick together and and Derek was like, oh yeah, they sure did. Them boys stuck together. I thought that was a funny moment, before Kylan came out. But
and I love how they like roasted Kylan during that round table. Like for Kylan to sit there and say that Hannah and Tiffany were on like equal playing field as Derek F in terms of like contributions to the cookout. Like I'm glad that like God bless these women of Big Brother 23. Like they are not going to put up with any shit. Like even like Tiffany in her exit interview with Rob, like she was like calling Kylan out, calling him delusional, saying that like listen, like, and I'm just glad that Tiffany got the credit that she deserved for the cookout. And she didn't put up with Kylan's bullshit at all. These like revisionist history.
Here's a shout out to the aliens and the people that are not of Earth. Mothership, please come get Kylan. We're done. Yeah. We don't need him anymore. Come get him. Beam him back up. It's over. It's done with. You're not coming back. You're just how. Here's the thing. People like that, you're never going to get through to. People like that never think they do anything wrong. I mean,
well, he's gonna say that like, oh, you guys didn't see everything. Like that's what he was saying to the cameras like the week before he was evicted. So I just feel like he's just gonna like gaslight us the same way that he's doing Xavier right now with his exit and everything. So I wish that I had the ability to think that highly of myself. I wish I had the ability to think that I was like that perfect of a human being. But sadly, I do not. I live in reality, and Kylan needs some serious like introspection for himself, how he treats other people. I'm glad that Sarah Beth was so cold to him too. Like she didn't really give him like they hugged, but like her body language after they hugged, like she was like very like closed off and kind of like I will say Sarah Beth impressed me a lot with her contributions in the jury segment. And I was thinking like man, where was this player during Big Brother 23? And I have to like to say that like it was
hanging out with
like,
Kylan.
Exactly. Like that it was the whole like Kylan of it all that she really just like got swept in. So I hope she's doing okay.
Yeah, these people need some time to decompress and unwind. I wish we could have heard from Frenchie. I wish we could have heard from Whitney. But instead we got to hear from Travis and Christian.
And Brent.
Yay. Anyway. And Brent, but I love Brent, so I can't.
I will say Brent is. It seems to me that Brent has done some introspection, like postseason, about how he treats women and stuff, because he used his time to give Tiffany the credit that she deserved about the cookout, and for Xavier and Derek F to be sitting in those chairs, listening to Brent of all people saying that it was Tiffany that ran the show. That has to like strike something within them. So I hope that they take that seriously. But
right, and we didn't hear a lot from Claire. Like, how do they pick who asks the questions? Claire didn't ask a question.
Tiffany didn't get asked a question.
Tiffany didn't ask a question. I guess it just whatever. I don't know. I just thought it was weird, but all in all, it was a lackluster finale because we kind of knew. Yeah, it was predictable. It was, but look, don't sleep on Big D. I told y'all week 2. I said don't sleep on Derek F, and he made it to final 2. I don't care what you say. He made it to final 2. That's it. Another thing is, of course, we've got to give credit to part-time commentator Andrew Gibson, who did pick the winner. He picked Xavier. So listen, all I got to say is, look, Tyler, you and I are not at odds. Neither one of us picked the winner for once. So how does it feel? I need to pick your brain. How does it feel to be in a class with me, to be where I am?
I'm within. I wouldn't want anything else in my life, Allison, than to be in the company of you. But I will say my draft team did a lot better than yours overall.
Listen, my draft team was god awful, and one I got by default. So,
I was the only one that had all 4 members in the jury.
Oh, hey, Deb. Deb has got a comment. Yes, Big D is delusional about his contributions to the game, but his constant shit talking did indeed put targets on people all throughout the game. Yeah, he did talk a lot of shit. And I think his shit talking actually ended up shooting him in the foot with Azza at the end because she decided to not take him. You know, I mean, if she had gone. So I kind of got...
And good for her. Like, if it came to that and she made that decision, like, yeah, it would have costed her $750,000. But like, Azza this whole season, you guys, has not been interested in playing the game of Big Brother. No. I've never seen somebody so disinterested in playing like any part of the season. Like, she just like, I would really like to know if Azza enjoyed her time in the Big Brother house, if it was what she thought it was going to be. I mean, this was the girl who like preseason in her bio said that like she wanted to play like June song. I just like, I really expected more out of Azza, and yeah, she got herself in a losing situation, and like we can say like, I can't believe you were gonna take Big D, but like she put herself in that position by taking out Hannah and Tiffany at the final 6 instead of sticking with the guys. She put herself there, and it could have been a different outcome for her, but I don't think she really cares. Is the thing, you know what I mean?
But there is something about Azza that I liked. When she was being interviewed by Julie, she did say that it meant more to her for a good representative of the African American community like Xavier to win, that she would have been okay, you know, coming in second to someone like him. And I thought that was very humbling. And I think that was very classy of her. And like I said, I have nothing bad to say about Xavier. I've said it all along. I've never played Big Brother. I can sit here all day and tell you everything I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do, but you really don't know what you're going to do until you get in there. I mean, I really think it messes with your head. And hey, Kim Matina in the chat, she said she wasn't active, but she was playing more for the mental. She was kind of an empathetic person. That's true. I think she picked up on a lot of energy and stuff. You know, it just, you know, I don't know.
No, I understand. And that's why like this season is such an enigma and so tough to talk about in general, because we've never seen a season where people are actively seeing that like this isn't the best road for my game. But it's not even about my individual game. It's not even about my individual win or place in the game. It's about like the message and kind of like making history. And that is ultimately what ended up happening here. And I think that that's a really beautiful, incredible thing. Do I think that the cookout is going to happen every year from here on out? Absolutely not. I think this was like a very like one time like historic thing that like will be remembered. And I think it's great. Is it like the most exciting gameplay? No, not at all. I have a list of pros and cons that we're going to get into next, and that is one of my cons, is that the end game after Final 6 was not very good. It was not very, I feel like all 6 of them didn't really play that well in the Final 6. But I kind of credit that to them not having to play too hard until they got to Final 6, because like they were always covered, even if one of them was on the block, which is like how like, which is even more credit to Tiffany, that like she created this structure that was so impenetrable, so gridlocked and sturdy, and they so many non-cookout members had power throughout the season, right? So there were so many opportunities where like this whole plan could have gone to shit, and it didn't, because like they just had everybody so snowed. And it was really fun to see these jury segments where they're like trying to piece together the puzzle, but like they don't know if it's something they should say out loud. Like I feel like these are all like really good learning lessons for us just as people, as future players of the show. I don't know, just all very interesting things. But I want to get into my pros and cons list here. I have
hold on, I just want to bring up this one point. They need to cast house guests that are hungry to win. 5 of the final 6 didn't. I agree. I mean, I feel like this was more of making history, and like once we got to the 6, we're making history, and that's fine. Just as long as one of us that wins, it's fine. I kind of felt like that did go out the window a little bit, and they did start nibbling at each other's little corpses, if you know what I mean. I mean, but okay.
It was like Xavier, like, and Rob asked him about this. He was very close. Like, if Xavier won that veto at Final 7, he said he really would have thought about taking Alyssa down and betraying the cookout. So like it was very close to happening. It just fell into the wrong hands. But okay, so
let's get into your points.
Do you want my pros or cons first?
Let's hear some pros. I need some positivity. Let's do the positive stuff first.
Okay. So, and this is in no particular order, right? Like this is just like things that like came to my mind today as I was just like thinking about the season as a whole. Because I think it's important to just kind of like zoom out and like look at like the season as a whole now that everything is done. Very easy to get lost in the nuances throughout the season, but okay. So the first pro I had was Tiffany winning America's Favorite Player. I think that
not Brittany Cent, but Tiffany.
Yes,
Tiptoes.
I really thought it was going to be Derek X, just because the casuals and the live feeders and stuff really loved him. But sorry, I have like something in my throat. But Tiffany winning was really the best timeline, and I think like she absolutely deserved it. Like if she cannot win Big Brother because of the cookout that she created, and she knew that was going to be the end of her game, I think it's very like it's not even about the money for Tiffany. It's just about that like extra recognition that like out of the entire cast, like Tiffany was voted America's Favorite Player in this season. I think is a really special, very good thing.
You know what? Would you rather, if you didn't win Big Brother, wouldn't you rather have America's Favorite Player?
Totally. I mean, like in the age of social media, like I know like a majority of these house guests are really thinking heavily about like, how am I being perceived? Do people like me? And you get little hints of that with like the currency in the high roller room, for instance. But America's Favorite Player is very clear. So it would make me feel really good. So another pro that has to do with Tiffany is the fact that she is an older house guest who did very well. Usually in past seasons of Big Brother, the older person is a little kooky, a little like easy, like first boot target type of thing. And I actually made a TikTok preseason with like some guesses and stuff. And I predicted Tiffany was the first boot. Just going off of she's the quote unquote older house guest. So very impressive that she was able to integrate herself as well as she did. Who would have guessed that like her BFF in the house would be Claire and Hannah, when like they don't really have too much in common really. So very good. Keep casting older people. And I say older in quotation marks because they're not old, but like, you know what I mean? Cast like older people like Tiffany who are like eager to play and know how to play.
Listen, so are you saying that people who are older are weird and quirky as I sit here holding a unicorn pencil?
I mean, I'll let you answer that for yourself.
Listen, I got you. Look, they can cast me. I'll give you a show. I will give you feeds.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I have no doubt in my mind. Okay, so the next pro, just as a whole, zooming out on the casting, really great job overall in terms of, I feel like the the pre-jury men like Christian and Frenchie and now like Brent and Travis were a lot more like not woke, but just like not like tools, like not like douchebags fully. Like Brent, yes, in the house was, but like just like the general like casting of course was like so much more diverse, not only in race but like sexuality. We had like autism representation as well, which was amazing. And I think this new casting team is definitely headed in the right direction. The team's twist is another pro. Like I'm usually very thumbs down on like twists for Big Brother, but I actually thought the team's twist was done very well. They really they gave them the choice of one of two people to pick each time, which really made sure that the teams were balanced. The teams really played a really heavy role in the alliances and made it like really layered in terms of like who is going to target who and everything. The Cookout's legacy, of course, like we've already touched on this, but that is definitely a pro.
Yes.
Frenchie's chaotic first week, I think, really set off the season in a really fun, exciting way. Like usually that first HOH is a little boring, but we saw Frenchie go through literally like 6 different targets.
That man played a whole season of Big Brother in 1 week. Bless his heart. Did you see Janelle give him a shout out?
I didn't.
She gave him a shout out on Twitter saying he annoyed her at first, but she really enjoys him and likes him, would like to, she really likes him. And I thought, you can say what you can about Frenchie, but, we had him on this show and I really enjoyed him. I think that there's a lot of layers to him, and I think there's a lot going on there. And people seem to get mystified by the camo and the backwards baseball hat.
Honestly, I like him better than Donnie. If we're looking at like an older guy who wears camo, like Frenchie had, he just gave us really good entertainment for the time that he was in the house.
I think he got a little bit of a raw deal though by some people in social media, but whatever. I think he's a good guy. I like Frenchie. I don't care.
I don't think he's a bad person. He's just a bad player, and that's totally fine. We need bad players to make a good, entertaining season. So with that being said, another pro is that we got day 1 feeds. So we got to see all of Frenchie's crazy HOH antics. And normally in Big Brother's past, we wouldn't even have seen anything from Frenchie's HOH. So I'm glad that we got to see all of that. Another pro is like the women of Big Brother 23. In general, were very captivating, very strong-willed, just very like good, independent, smarter thinkers, more competitors, less like influencers, like just worried about being hot, like in a bathing suit outside all season long type of thing. I just felt like the women were just like A+ this year.
Yeah. I think they did I think casting just did a great all-around job this year. I mean, I enjoyed it. So
Derek X's popularity, I think we touched on that already. This season wasn't a showman's heavy season.
No, thank God.
Yeah, and for that I'm thankful. Like, yeah, we had like the little like 4-mans with like Christian and Alyssa, but like that didn't last too long, and it wasn't like a serious thing on the show. Like it didn't really have any impact. So
he asked her to be his girlfriend, and Alyssa flat out said to Christian, "No, let's see how this plays out. Let's wait till after the show's over." How many times do you see a woman on Big Brother take control of the relationship and say, "You know what? No, I'm not going to be your girlfriend. We've been cuddling for 3 weeks. You're about to be out of here. I'm probably, no offense, going to make it a lot longer in this game. And I don't know. I need to keep my head in the game and pay attention to this. And I'll see you on the other side. And we'll go from there." I love that. This was so not the Jackson and what's her name? Holly and all that, chasing each other around, fighting and arguing and just petty BS. But yes, I'm glad there weren't big showmances. I don't even think if Christian had stayed, it would have been a big showmance. So I think it was good.
More even competitions, I felt, this year than years past. Like, we did have more men win competitions than women, but it's usually a little more lopsided, including wild card wins. There were 19 comps won by men, and 12 won by women. So still a little unbalanced, but like it's definitely a lot more like even than we saw even last year. So that's good. And one more pro is that I'm glad Christy is okay, and like it was like a false positive, but I'm glad that Claire as like a super fan like was an alternate who got in, and very very happy with her, and her journey.
Christy could always come back, y'all. We could be talking about her being the winner.
She'd be the first one that would sign up for that. So
yeah. Buy Vimo or buy a cameo from her and have her tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So are you ready for the cons? Did you have any more pros to add?
No, I think you did good.
Okay. And Nelda saying Brittany's comp win can't be forgotten. That is true.
Listen, everything Brittany did, loved it. They even told her to calm down during the show. I felt Brittany sent, because I'm not like, when Brittany sent gets excited, Allison gets excited. It's kind of like, I watch the Today Show every day, and I love Hoda Kotb. She just makes me feel happy and at ease. And if Hoda is not panicking about something, Allison's not going to panic. But if Hoda's concerned, Allison's concerned.
Yeah.
So Brittany sent. She didn't win America's favorite player, but she won it in Allison's heart. She won Allison's heart. Okay, who won your heart?
For Allison's favorite player.
Yeah, Allison's favorite player. Who won your heart this season? And then we'll get to the cons. Who won your heart?
In terms of gameplay, or just like as a person?
Just a person.
Or, I really, I would say Hannah.
Hannah
really had my heart. Like that really broke my heart when she was the second one evicted in that double eviction, and just seeing like how sad she was because she saw that was coming. But yeah, so I would say Hannah and Derek X, of course, and Tiffany. Those three are great. This cast overall is so good. Okay,
everybody's talking Derek X, Whitney. And BB, and I'm calling her Brittany Cent because during the HOH competition, that was her rap name, Brittany Cent, like 50 Cent. So that's why I'm calling it that. Okay, let's get to these cons. Let's do the negative crap.
Okay, all right. So overall, like I think one of the biggest cons to me was the high roller room in general.
Yeah.
I thought it was a twist that really didn't land at all. And Andrew on last week's show brought up a really good point about how Survivor this season is trying so many different twists. But those twists require you risking something, you having something taken away from you, where like these are just like freebies that are introduced to the game, don't impact the game, and they're not even like well thought through. So like for instance, like first of all, the currency of like each of these things was busted to the point where like the third week they had to like randomly give people more money just so it wasn't just Derek F competing in the last one. So it wasn't thought through at all. The Coin of Destiny was such a flop. Claire winning the Coin of Destiny and overthrowing Tiffany's HOH only to nominate Sarah Beth and Kylan again. Like it was the most like anticlimactic thing. And they made it this dramatic thing, right? They had this stand with the little like lever thing that Tiffany like pushed down to flip the coin. This dramatic, like everybody watching the coin flipping in the air in slow motion.
Yeah, it's a whole lot. And of course, once again, thank you, Kylan Pierre. Is that your real name? Tyler, is this better cast than BB Can? Sorry, Allison.
No. This is not a better cast than BB Can 9. And I'll get into why. Yeah. But so yeah, the Coin of Destiny, meh. I think the pre-jury had a few duds in it. Like I know we have some Whitney stands in the chat, but I think Whitney and Brent specifically didn't really contribute much of anything to the season or the gameplay. So I feel like those 2 weeks were particularly like boring. And it was boring because the cookout was being formed and nobody around them like realized what was happening.
Right.
So another con, the end game after Final Six was really, really disappointing. I feel like Xavier did not play well. Yes, he won, but like just how like him and Derek F and Kylan got together and really just discredited anything that Tiffany or Hannah did. Kylan like saving Xavier with the veto was a terrible move. Ozza just like defending the hell out of these guys and only to get third place, just like we all predicted. Just like very poor strategy in the end game. Yeah. This has nothing to do with them personally, just very poor strategy. And I think that it's because like with something as so locked solid as the cookout, you don't really have to start playing an individual game until Final Six. So these people have been in the house for like 50 some days before the thought of like, what about my individual game crosses their mind. That's tough.
I feel like they were so wrapped up in getting the cookout to the Final Six, which is fine.
Yeah.
That they didn't really think about what am I going to do once we get there.
Yeah. It's like starting a new game of Big Brother with 6 people. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's so another con, there was no fights really, except for the whole like Kylan exit at the end, but that was more ugly than like an entertaining fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another con is a very predictable winner. All of us said Xavier was going to win like a month before we got to this point, which is not good. Like same thing with Cody last year, not good. Where like and yeah, Tyler talks about BB Can 9, but like we like at like final like I mean we had no idea if it was gonna be Tyshawn or Tara or Brayden. Like it really came down to like who won the final HOH and how like who they took. And it was just like such a tight like photo finish race where like this like Xavier was just like miles ahead like the entire time.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a very good winner strategy, or not a very strong winner in terms of like capabilities as a player. Xavier was really targeted very early because the Kings were so strong as like a group of 4 that were winning all these comps and everything. And a lot of people had their eyes on Xavier at the beginning of this game. So I question like his ability to play under the radar in like a normal season of Big Brother. I have him ranked 21st out of 30 between all Big Brother US and Big Brother Canada winners. Kylan's ugly exit and how he treated Sarah Beth, I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. I know you love Derek F, but him and Ozza making it as far as they did was pretty just made the end like easier and more predictable for Xavier. Like, could you imagine how fun that would have been if it was like Xavier, Kylan, and Tiffany in the end or something like that? Like the 3
yeah. I just think that it was lackluster. I mean, Xavier had to know he was going to win.
Yeah.
And no matter who he went against. And the only thing he had to fear was Ozza winning the final HOH. And the odds were always higher in his favor. I mean, just because he's won more competitions, I don't mean that in a negative light or anything, but you know, Ozza really tried. It's just how it is. And it's like he knew during the jury segment, during the questioning, during all of it, that he was going to win. And this was the friendliest final 2 being questioned by a jury I've seen in a long time. I mean, even Jackson and Holly weren't that friendly, and they were
because it was just so like.
I mean,
there's no.
No I mean, and it seemed like there was a lot of joking and butting around and laughing. It was very light. And you know, I kind of like that. It was less stressful. I was kind of expecting a different question from Kylan. I don't think Kylan should have asked a question. I would have much rather Tiffany or Claire ask a question over Kylan. So that's one of my cons that I didn't like. I don't know.
One last con for me is Julie Chen's like inappropriate like religious callouts are just like way out of control. Like the beauty of having this diverse of a cast is like it's okay that not everybody shares the same beliefs, but to like push that on people in their exit interviews is wildly inappropriate in my opinion. And maybe she just has some like making up to do with defending her husband through everything. I don't want to get into like the personal of it, but like it just has no place on the show in the game in my opinion. And I'm not saying that she can't be religious, you know what I mean? But like to say to Claire in her exit interview, who is an atheist, say to Claire like, oh, you're such a great and sweet person, like I'm sure you're a child of God, and Claire having to awkwardly like be like yeah, like it's just inappropriate. It's just inappropriate.
It is. And you know, I will say I'm a Christian, and you know, I have my opinions on faith, and I follow a certain, it's hard for me because it gets on my nerves, and it is freedom of speech, but at the same time, it's to me, you're supposed to separate church and state and all that. I like to escape from life when I watch Big Brother and everything else. I don't want to hear Julie Chen telling me to be well and a child of God and all that. I'm kind of on the boat with Kim here. I want a drunk Janelle versus Bo fight, you know, and stuff like that. Like I want to hear someone yelling, "Whore! You're such a whore!" Like I can't watch Big Brother and have that going on, and then Julie Chen Moonves going, "I'm sure Jesus Christ will forgive you for that argument." Julie, God dang it, give it a rest. Stop it. It doesn't, you know, but then again, I'm like, she can say what she wants. She can do what she wants. I'm not judging.
She can say what she wants.
Yeah, but just leave it.
There's consequences for things that you say like that. And that's my whole thing is like, you know, like you're a religious person. I am not, but like, you don't come on My Weekly Meltdown and say, Tyler, you're a child of God because you're such a sweet person. I bet you are like a religious guy.
You know how I feel about Jesus.
Yeah.
Do I bring it up all the time?
No, not at all. And do I bring up the opposite to you? Not at all. No. Because it's a non-issue. Like it's not anything that's relevant to the game, to the season. And it's just like, I mean, I remember her giving a Bible to Kevin on his way out last season, where like he said multiple times on the feeds that like the church really like excommunicated him for being gay. So like the fact that like that's like out there on the feeds that he's talking about, and then Julie like gives him a Bible on the way out is like really not good.
Unsettling. I'll be honest with you, a lot of people that I am in church with, they don't watch reality TV. They don't watch these shows. They don't know I have a YouTube channel. They haven't a clue that I have said the F word God knows how many times on this show. But let me tell you something. That's because I don't include that in that life. My religion and what I do is two separate things. God is not going to keep me from the pearly gates of heaven because I say, fuck. Okay. I mean, I don't care who you are. That's not going to happen. And I just think there's a time and a place for things. And it's not, Big Brother is not the show to be handing. Look, these people need Jesus. I will not argue that, but let's not give them Bibles and tell them that shit. I mean, maybe if someone like Azza, who is in her faith, comes out, that isn't appropriate. Look, then I think it's appropriate. Julie can say whatever she wants because it was initiated by Azza. That's fine with me. I don't mind. Yeah. But other than that, let's just keep it, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want, when I'm watching porn, I don't want someone to come out dressed like Jesus. It ruins it. It puts a whole thing out there that I don't want to deal with. Okay.
It makes it just like all about that instead of like what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adrian points out another pro, not only for this, but future seasons, more live move-ins. I thought the live move-in went a lot better this year than it did last year. So very, very good about that. But
I know it's a shocker. Dolores. Yes. This is tame compared to what I used to be. Yes. This is really tame.
That is true. I agree with that. But yeah, I mean, I think I've said it all. Like, Allison, do you have any last thoughts before we
just read this?
Romero says Allison is the best.
Thank
you. That is Romero's opinion.
Burn. No, welcome. I don't have anything else other than Xavier is a perfect winner. The perfect, I think, first, African-American winner of Big Brother. I co-sign it. I love it. That's it.
Who do you see returning for another season?
God, I hope it's not Kylan, because that means I'd get cast that year.
I don't think Kylan's being invited back out.
No. I think Tiffany has. I would like to see Tiffany. I think Sarah Beth has potential without Kylan around. I'd like to see Frenchie play again. I would like to see people who really didn't have a chance maybe play too hard, too fast, and see if they've learned from that. People who relied on someone they shouldn't have, like Sarah Beth. I would like to see something. Derek X would be a good one. I think if someone like Tiffany came back, I think it would be too much of a target. I think she would be too much of a target because she started the cookout. And unfortunately, I think that they would take her out pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, that's just my opinion. Hannah's a good one. I mean, this whole cast was pretty good except Kylan. We don't want him back ever. I don't think I don't think Derek F could handle playing Big Brother again. I think Derek F would only come back for a Celebrity Big Brother season. I really think he only would. And you know what? I'd be there for it, and you all would too. So don't act like you would.
And he compared himself to Frankie Grande.
Take your ass home. Okay. Take your ass home. Take your ass home. Take your ass home. I'm doing my Derek F twerk. Take your ass home. Take your ass home. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in for all of our coverage about Big Brother. We're going to start talking about Survivor now, but just wanted to kind of put to rest Big Brother 23. It's Big Brother US still has a lot of improvements that need to be made, but I think we're headed in the right direction is my takeaway from the season. Overall, I had a good time with the season.
Yeah. And the next time I cover Big Brother, my grandson will be here.
Oh my gosh. How do you feel?
Little guy will be 7 months old for his first season, Big Brother 24. Wow. I'm excited. I get my they get their final ultrasound picture next week.
Cool.
To see finally what he looks like after, because we'll only get 2 3D ultrasound pictures, and we got one 2 months. It'll be 2 months ago. So we finally get the new picture this week, and I'm so excited. But let's talk about Survivor 41, episode 2, the twisty, I don't know, man.
Yeah, so let's talk. I need to pull up the people's names because I am just I'm finding, so I'll be honest.
I'm still learning everyone too, so
I'm finding it hard to talk about Survivor 41. And
Why?
I don't know if it's just because we haven't had a season in 2 years, so I'm a little rusty talking about it, or if I just feel like I haven't committed to memory the who's on each tribe, the people's names, who they are as people. We're getting there, but I feel like I need 1 or 2 more episodes before I have a grasp on the season.
You know what it is for me? There's a lot going on. I feel like they're doing a lot in episode 2. We love you too, Kim. Thank you for tuning in. Here's the thing. They're doing a lot. We've got a new twist. You're taking people to this island. there's a lot going on. Brad running around like a lunatic the first few minutes of the episode, I thought was hilarious. I thought it was funny when he was hiding in the bush and he's like, the prey knows when you're looking at them. So I'm just going to look away and close my eyes so they don't know. And then he runs all the way back. Like, how slow are these people walking? It ain't that far.
Well, I just have so many questions about the Green Tribe because, like...
Let me say something real quick.
Yeah. Sorry.
You know what my first thought was when I saw Brad doing all these shenanigans? I said, this is Tyler when he plays Survivor. His ass is going to be running up and down this beach doing shit like this. I know it. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Well, hopefully we get to see that at some point in the future.
Yeah.
That's no nod. I'm not in talks with casting or anything like that. Yeah, the show can do much better than me. But
no, they can't.
I feel
like don't do that to yourself.
I feel like the Green Tribe overall is like, I just don't really understand the dynamic because like we saw Brad like running down the beach, but like JD and Ricard in like the last episode were like really not trusting each other, and now they're having like private conversations. And then it's just like, so like Brad like runs to do like a little like Tony spy shack situation. And he tells Shan that that's what he's going to do. And then Shan goes to tell JD like immediately. And I feel like this is the second time that Shan has really dropped a bomb on like information that people are trusting her with. I feel like that's very dangerous.
Yeah. And I just want to point out Romero 329, Dominic, who was on our show last week. This is, I think, his first time watching Survivor. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to bring up a point, and we appreciate you watching it. He said, I'm relatively new to Survivor, but I like how, unlike BB, they don't spend 5 to 10 recapping the last episode and they get straight to the point. I have to agree. I've kind of noticed that as well. They just start the dang show. Like I was fast forwarding and I was like, oh shit, this is the show. It started. I gotta rewind now. But yeah, so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I feel like, I mean, with all of this, I feel like Brad might be the next to go. But I'm keeping a close eye on Shan because a lot of people were talking about her edit in the premiere as being very like winner's edit. Here we come. But like, I don't see it yet for her. And I just, Shan, you just got to be careful with what you say and who you say it to. So I'm proceeding with caution with Shan.
What do we think about this twist where each tribe member finds the clue? I don't like it. Deb in the chat, she doesn't like it. We don't like it. I gotta find the clue, and then you want me to say something ridiculous and hope that someone else, like, what do you want me to do? I mean, it's like, I believe butterflies are dead, and then somebody is supposed to yell from another tribe, clouds are white when the sky is blue. Gee, so that's not giving anything away.
So I feel like I like it in concept, but I feel like one of the rules should be like you can't share this info with anybody else.
Yeah.
Because like Xander told Voce and Evie right away, and so Evie tells Deshawn when they like go to the summit thing together. So now like the Blue Tribe like probably knows how it works too. So I just feel like it's gonna be a thing where like everybody is listening for it at every challenge, and it's going to be very obvious. And it's not that powerful. And the worst part is like you lose your vote until this happens. So like Xander has an extra vote from last week, but he can't even use that.
Oh, he can't?
He is like, no, because he like until all three of those people like say that thing and the idol is like activated, Xander has no vote. That was like the whole point of the I think it was called like the beware twist or something like that. But it's very risk reward, but like it's especially in a tribe of 6, now 5, going into Xander finding this. It's I don't know. It's really tough to lose a vote when you're one of 5 people.
Yeah, I'm not into this twist. I think they should have left it alone. Let's just plant 18 random idols all over the island. And what is Jeff Probst doing to me? What is he doing to me? Now he's describing what might happen before the tribe comes in for tribal council. Hello, I'm Jeff Probst, and welcome to Survivor. We don't know what is going to happen this evening in Tribal Council. Yeah. Anything could happen. And I'm like, why, Jeff? Why? You're growing your hair out, you're changing descriptions of people, and now you're ASMRing it about you're whispering as they're walking up. It's so awkward.
It is awkward. It feels like bad foreplay to me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's not even like an exciting tribal like happened this week. Like, so to be like, hey guys, like we're about to see a really great tribal. Like, don't tell us we're going to see it. Show us. It's just very weird.
It's a vacation. Let's give him a vacation and bring TJ Lavin in from the challenge and just let him do a season of Survivor. I could see him in khaki shorts and a white button up. Why not?
Like TJ is very like casual with the way he like hosts the show, where Jeff is very like crazy.
No, I feel like TJ would laugh when they face plant in the water. I feel like he would totally tell them to sit down and be quiet and act right during tribal when they start buzzing around talking. What is this, guys? You've had time all day to run around camp to do this. No, not on my watch. This isn't going to happen. Discuss it with everyone else. No whispering.
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyway.
So that's really all that we saw from the Green Tribe. So let's talk about the Blue Tribe, because they only had like literally one segment, and then we.
I don't remember the Blue. Who's on the Blue Tribe?
So basically, the only thing on the Blue Tribe that happened was Nasir is now like universally loved by everybody on the tribe. He's really proving himself to be a provider, and we saw some good backstory about
Nasir.
Nasir, yeah.
Okay, Nasir.
Just like his conditions growing up and stuff like that, and I predicted last week that like I feel like he's gonna have like a Tai Trang trajectory in this game in terms of like a sloppy start, but like once he gets his footing in the game, I feel like Nasir's he's gonna be around for a long time.
Okay. Is he one of your picks, by the way?
No, I will update the draft, but no, he is not one of my picks. Okay, so the Yellow Tribe is the one that lost immunity. So very quickly we start to see like, so Voce and Xander are like, listen, like we have to stay tribe strong. We only have 5 people. We're going to be down to 4 after this. So we need to convince, and they think Evie is their way in to get 3 votes, put them on Tiffany. Easy, right? Because she did not do well in that immunity challenge at all. Like I felt like we were having like a Suri and Game Changers moment where they're like, you can do it, dig deep, Tiffany. I'm like,
I was really touched by, listen, I just call me crazy. I felt Tiffany in that moment because my butt would have, I don't know how I would have gotten across that. And seeing her, I think her breast cancer scars, I think that really touched me. I mean, you've been through it, girl. You got this. Just scoot and go. It's a game. Don't hurt yourself. Just get there. We'll make up time. And they were starting to. They were doing a good job. I really like it when I see, look, it slowed everyone down, but she was trying. It's not like she phoned it in. She was really trying. And I like Tiffany. I have a special place in my heart for her. So I hope she doesn't go anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it was funny, Jeff constantly calling her out. Okay, this team's behind because Tiffany can't decide if she wants to scoot or run. Or look, if this was a fallen challenge, you guys would win already. Y'all be there. But it's not.
It's like, where's Ozzy? Can we like bring him back?
Right.
Yeah, so it was a great story, but like they lost the challenge because of Tiffany. Like there's no way around that. So like the guys were like, listen, like we have to stay tribe strong, and Evie is armed with this information that Xander told her about the Beware twist. So So she knows that Xander has no vote. And he possibly has an idol incoming. He doesn't have it yet because she listened for like the replies back at the challenge, didn't hear it. So that's like all the confirmation that she needs that Xander can't vote. So it makes it only 4 votes. So it makes it a lot easier for the girls to say like, listen, like we need to get him out. Like it's like, yeah, like we're losing like a strong tribe member, but like ultimately I think it was the right move. Yeah. For them to go in this direction because it's like once you have that majority in a tribe of 6 that is so like it doesn't matter if you're not tribe strong, if you're not there to lose the challenges, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's where I fall on it anyway. But we saw Tiffany get really very paranoid and freaking out about like, oh well, what if Xander does have the idol? Like what if he has like he has this extra vote? And Evie tried so hard to like just like talk her off the ledge. And we saw from Tiffany, like she said in confessional, like, I don't know if I'm being one of these like crazy paranoid Survivor players. And we were all like,
yeah, it's okay. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody goes down that abyss. Everyone does. They go there.
So Tiffany was like, listen, like, just in case he has an idol, like, I really think it has to be Voce. And I will say, like, I want to give credit to Liana because, and I think I said this in our chat, like, while we were watching Survivor, but Tiffany, you just saw, like, the crazy, like, paranoia in her eyes. Like, she was like, it has to be Voce, or, like, I'm going to go, like, I'm going to be eliminated. I almost said evicted. And Liana just, like, put her hands on her shoulder and said, baby girl, it's okay. Like, it'll be okay. Like, everything will be fine. She gave her like a kiss on the forehead or something. Just really good in that moment. Just like really subtle, perfect, like emotional manipulation to just stick to the plan, run the course, and just chill into the. You know
what I enjoy? I enjoy saying the name Voce. Like, I literally was sitting there watching it last night going, Voce, to the single lady song. All the Voces, all the Voces, all the Voces. I don't know why, but I was doing that. That's what I was doing when you guys were talking gameplay. I was making songs.
I believe it.
The single ladies out of names of people, you know, that's what I do. That's how I
go. So ultimately we see Voce voted out. And I think like what happened was they just like agreed with Tiffany, like, listen, doesn't matter, like we'll let you have this one. But so now it kind of puts Xander in an interesting position because like he's like the sole guy left on this tribe, and he also has no vote. So like the question is like, do the girls like turn on each other next round, or because like the longer that Xander's in the game, the more likely it is that he will get an idol at some point with this like beware twist. So it's really like a ticking time bomb. And I feel like if I were one of the girls, I probably would have taken the swing at Xander this week and just, you know, not have that even being like a ticking time bomb, like hovering over my head or anything.
Yeah.
But like they run the risk of like losing Tiffany at that point if they don't like fold and give her what she wants, and then it's game over for all the girls because then like Xander and David or Voce are still in the game with Tiffany, so it would probably it would be Liana voted out, I'm assuming, because like the guys worked more with Evie. So really good move on Liana that she just like folded in and let it happen, because now they have the total control in that tribe. But I do want to say that like Evie is playing a really dangerous game in the middle here.
Which one is Evie?
Evie is I think she's a lesbian. I'm not sure.
Does she have glasses and short hair?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. She went to the island.
She went to the summit thingy.
Okay.
But and so I really liked her exchange with Deshawn here, right? Like she just flat out said like, listen, this is how this thing works. I'm going to give you an extra vote. And he said, I will remember that. I will pay that gratitude back to you someday in the game. And she's like, don't worry about it. Like, we'll just work together. Like once we get there, like, and I liked that very, like, here you have this. There's no expectations attached to it. Very much so like a hands-off way to build allies even outside of your tribe. So I thought that was all really good. And then she took it a step forward or further by telling Deshawn like how the idols work and everything. So now he has the info of how that Beware twist is going to work. And I'm curious like who he's going to mention that to in the Blue Tribe. I would assume Danny, the guy that he held the he brought the water back and forth with in last week. But I just feel like the cat's going to be out of the bag pretty soon. Like everybody is going to know about this Beware twist. So it's not even going to be an exciting moment that they wanted.
And we only have 26 days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to swap tribes. I think No, I think they're just going to dwindle in numbers and all come together as one tribe. There's no time for it.
Yeah. Well, I guess what they could do is, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So they, so after like, so say like the yellow tribe goes to tribal council one more time and they go from 4 down to 3. I think that's when they would have to do a swap, right? Especially if Xander is one of those 3 and he's ineligible to vote, then you have like only 2 people voting in a tribal council, which is just like Looney Tunes. So I think that like once it gets to 14, like after next week and they vote somebody out next week, whoever loses immunity, I think if they go into 2 tribes of 7, and have that be a thing until the merge, I think that's probably the best way to do it. But do you like these like smaller tribes starting out, or do you like 2 bigger ones?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I think it's kind of silly to split them up like that when you could just have 2 tribes. I don't really understand why we're doing that. I think maybe it was a COVID decision. Maybe they, everyone's been tested and is fine, but let's go ahead and just let the groups. Yeah. I mean, that's the only reason why I could possibly think that they did it this way. And it's a shorter time period. Because there really isn't like normally when they split them up, you have brains, bronze, and I'm sorry, nerds. I mean, it wasn't nerds, but I'm sorry, I can't remember. Okay. But they have the label or whatever. This time they don't. So I think it's kind of not something we should probably spend a whole bunch of time on. I think they're going to dissolve and become one big tribe. And, that's just my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this twist. I think it's silly. I am going to find a lot of humor in them trying, every time Xander goes to this freaking immunity challenge, he's going to be saying something about butter. He's going to be like, somebody's going to spin around the 3rd time, be like, dude, why do you keep bringing up the butterflies are dead shit? I mean, can we not? It's dead. Nobody cares. What the hell? I mean, eventually somebody's going to, it's going to get old.
It's not like the best TV either.
No, it's why do I have to shout a freaking code across to somebody else? Why can't I just say something simple like, I don't know. What is simple? I don't know. I lost myself. But still, like, why do I have to yell something silly?
Yeah. And also, I want to clarify because we had some people discussing like Evie's pronouns. From my understanding, I heard that her pronouns are she, they. Okay. But if I'm wrong on that, of course, I don't mean to like misgender anybody or anything. Yeah. So that's.
Well, Deb has a question. Will they give Xander a new saying each time? I don't think so. I think what's on that paper is on that paper. I don't think they thought 2 steps ahead of this stupid twist that we're going to be shouting crap each time we go. Maybe he just needs to be quiet next time they go to the immunity challenge and wait for somebody else to say something stupid. Okay, yeah. You said something stupid. You're my people. So.
Matt Henning, and sorry for like not keeping an eye on the chat too much tonight. I just have like so much to say about Big Brother, but
no, you're fine.
Henning says, will the Beware twist die if Xander gets voted out? I wonder. That's a good question.
Hopefully.
I would assume so, because I feel like if he gets voted out next round, say, I feel like a swap isn't too far behind, and then like this twist can't work if like two people are on the same tribe.
I don't feel like a lot of thought was put into this.
Yeah, it's
very odd.
But it's a good question, one that I had as well. But we just don't know enough about how the mechanics of this work. So I don't know. It's just yeah. Henning says because Evie, Tiffany, and Liana wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't either. It's very that's a tough thing to get out of. If I were Xander, I would say at the beginning of the immunity, listen, I took this twist. You guys better find this idol and we'll play it together and just flush it. Like, what can he lose at that point? Because he already doesn't have his vote. So, like, why not?
What are the other two things that are supposed to be said? We have butterflies are dead or something. And then what? Mud is brown. What is the other crap? I mean, I don't even know. Well, let's not. Like, I don't have time. I'm tired. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Listen, this is I'm still excited about Survivor though. It's going to get better. Tyler's going to get better. This is a new era. This is a new Survivor, and I think that we're just readapting to some changes and everything. And reality. One is goat on AstroTurf. How the fuck do you bring something like that up into a conversation and not give yourself away?
Honestly, Allison, I feel like you could do a good job of doing that. Like you could explain it away as just it's just like a Southern saying. We say this in Tennessee all the time. You know,
it's hotter than a goat on AstroTurf out here. Oh God.
Yeah, I feel like you could sell that very well.
I bet it kills butterflies too.
See, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broccoli smells like and broccoli looks like small trees. Like I can't. How do you even?
I mean, that is true.
I love it. I love it, but I hate it.
And then to update our draft, so Rory lost his first person here. There's like looking at this list, like I don't. Hoofland's other person, I forget her name, but like we haven't heard like anything from her. We haven't heard anything from I think it's Erica on that.
I think that's because it's a winning team. That's like you're not going to hear anything from the winning man. Rory, I don't know. You're in trouble with Brad. I'm sorry. You might be done before it starts. You might be in my boat, like Big Boy. Oof, man.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with mine.
I almost lost Tiffany twice.
Listen, I've got who is it? Ricard, the blonde you were talking about, and Vouchy. I don't know.
Voce.
I gotta scratch my Voce. It itches.
I don't want to know where Voce would be on.
It's not on camera.
Yeah. With that being said, any other thoughts before we wrap up here?
Woo! Anyway, no, nothing at all. I think Andrew Gibson and I are trying something a little new, and anyone who wants to come on this show can come on. It's not a big deal. It's a little Sunday thing. Andrew and I watch a lot of crap television. I mean, we watch tons of TV, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, any kind of streaming service. We are watching these shows, and we're watching regular shows. And the new season has officially kicked off for all these shows, the new television season. And so we're putting together a little Sunday night show where we just talk about the shows we're watching. And we're going to start giving one another homework assignments. I'll give him a show to watch and he'll give me a show to watch. And we may have our patrons give us a show to watch. And we're just going to test it out. It won't be every Sunday, but we'll post when we go live and kind of give you guys a heads up. But just kind of something we're playing around with. We're about, doing Survivor once a week, and I'm trying to expand the My Weekly Meltdown universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like give us like an example of like some like crap TV that you guys would be talking about.
Well, I deep dive into, I know this is going to shock everyone. I watch a shit ton of murder mystery shows. I watch a lot of headline news. I watch these, murder mystery, investigative discovery, Oxygen. I've seen every episode of Snapped. I mean, I've seen it all. Dateline, NBC 2020, Another 48 Hours. I just started some show on Hulu about this guy who has murdered all of his wives and pushed them off cliffs, and I just started an Amazon show called Lulu Row about
I heard about this. I want to watch that because I love like MLMs are so like entertaining to me as like just like shitty.
I'm amazed. And let me tell you something. The only reason why I'm watching this is because on Facebook, people were posting pictures of leggings that had designs and patterns on them with very unusual placements of the designs. One was a bunch of tacos on the leggings and a wide open taco where your crotch is, female, it's a crotch and there's your taco. And then one had something that looked like a penis coming out of the crotch. And then one looked like a bee crawling into your crotch and your butthole. So, that intrigued me enough. That's really all it took. I'm an easy date. Okay. I'm an easy date when it comes to TV. I'm easy. All you got to do is a bee was crawling up this woman's twat on her leggings, and there's a whole documentary about it. Where do I sign up? Where is it? Is there a subscription involved? I'm there. So I'm watching that. I started that today. I watch American Horror Story. They just started Death Valley Part 2, and I'm all into that. Very interesting episode I watched last night. I don't even know where to begin. But, I used to cover American Horror Story, and there's just some things that I have no words for. I have the Hallmark Channel, but I don't really watch it that much. I guess I should. It just shows so much cheese. I can't get into the cheese. I watch Days of Our Lives. Dr. Marlena Evans is possessed by Satan again. She was possessed by Satan in 1994, on and off for 2 years. And then she was exorcised by John Black. Her husband became her husband. They were married in the past, but it's a whole long thing. I don't have 64 years of Days of Our Lives to explain to you because it's time to go to bed.
There you go.
But that's where I'm. Teen mom, young and pregnant, The Challenge, Catfish. I could talk all day about the show Catfish. I still don't
grab bag.
10 years of this show of Catfish and a documentary movie, and people are still falling for it. I want to do, there's a show on Discovery Plus called Secrets of the Web. It is like the darker side of Catfish. And it's like real shit. I'm not saying Catfish isn't real shit because I've seen some real shit on Catfish. But I mean, this show, Secrets of the Web on Discovery Plus, this guy blackmailed multiple people and stalked them for years. And he catfished them. My jaw's still on the floor. I mean, it's crazy. You guys got to watch that. Trust me. I mean, I can listen. It's turning into Sunday show. I got to stop. But Tyler, you can join. Beth can join. Kim, whoever, patrons, reach out. I'm all about it. What are you watching? Law and Order SVU is on right now, and it's a crossover with organized crime. Will Olivia Benson finally get down with Elliot? Will Liv and Elliot finally do the deed? We don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers because I'm here. I'm talking to you people. So with that being said, listen, subscribe. Look, you of all people should watch SVU. Taylor Swift. One of her kittens is named Olivia Benson. That's Law and Order SVU. Elliot Stabler. You should know these things. If you were a real Taylor Swift fan, you would know this.
That's true. I am in fact a fan.
Do I need to get Charlie Thweet on this show? Because I'll do it.
We're good. So speaking of that, I think we're gonna head out for tonight.
Subscribe, follow, like, all of it.
Yep. All right. We love you guys. Take care. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Be well.